I just kept coming home miserable. Go to the gym and love every inch of like really looking after myself. But then I'd go to work and I'd just be so unhappy.
I'm here to introduce to you guys Kealee Hemsworth, who is a strength and mindset coach.
Yes.
Who is Kealee, and why should we listen to you?
I was the oldest and I felt like I had a big responsibility. We had a bit of a disagreement at the time and there was a little bit of physicalness to it. I went into a massive party stage because for me, alcohol was a way I could express myself. And it wasn't until I met my ex-partner, there was a bit of emotional abuse in this relationship. Going out of this relationship, I thought, you know what? I am going to give bodybuilding a go. Bodybuilding taught me strength that I didn't even know I had.
If you were to give the listeners the one key, what's that piece of advice? Hello and welcome to Keys to the Queendom. I am your host, Tamara Meyer, and I'm so excited this episode has finally happened with one incredible human that is someone that I really cherish close to my heart. She is an incredible force to be reckoned with. She has been in my space now in Queendom for quite some time, and she has honestly embarked and evolved time and time again. I'm here to introduce to you guys Kealee Hemsworth, who is a strength and mindset coach. Hello, my darling.
Hello. Thank you for that introduction. Oh, so nice. So nice. How are you?
I'm good.
Good?
I am good. You've interviewed me and
Yeah.
Now it's reversed.
Yes, now it is reversed. Except this time we're in person, so that's nice.
I know, and it's in Queensland right now too.
Yay.
I'm excited for the listeners to get to know you, and also your loyalty to the space, the community is really huge. Mm-hmm. But for those of you, the listeners who don't know who you are, you've got a very big story.
I do have a big story. Where do I start?
Where to begin? Take us back to how you've become the woman you are now. Mm-hmm. You've been through a lot.
Yep.
And it's shaped you for who you are today.
Yes.
Who is Kealee, and why should we listen to you?
Why? Oh, yeah. Somebody asked me this question just before, actually. And I thought there's not really one pivotal moment that has led me here. It's been a combination of different periods of my life, and I guess different experiences and different places and environments that's led me to where I am. So I grew up with mom, dad, in what you would think is going to be essentially your safe space. And look, don't get me wrong, I love my family. And essentially I was safe, but to me, and everyone would go through their own adversities or hold on to different stories that may or may not have happened in the way that we perceive it. But for me, there was a particular moment that I did hold on to, and I was the oldest and I felt like I had a big responsibility. I was essentially like a mum figure. Until there was this one time and I was at school and I got this message, and instantly I felt these chills, and I thought something's not right here. And it was actually one of my old, my dad's friend at the time. And it was a message to tell me that my mum had actually been cheating essentially on my dad. Wow. And that was really, really hard for me, really hard. And I had to come home and I guess face that reality. And look, mum was obviously doing the best that she could with the space and the capacity and the tools that she had at the time too. And she didn't know how to handle it. And it felt like I'm supposed to, come to her for safety and know what to do. And it was like I was telling her what to do and be essentially a mediator at that age. And it wasn't until a little bit after that we had a bit of a disagreement at the time, and there was a little bit of physicalness to it.
She was abusive.
Yeah. I don't really like to use, those words as such because, again, like it's moved past me and it's obviously shaped who I am. But at this time I knew, I was like, I can't really live like this. And so once I turned 18, I actually jumped out the window of my house because through each of these periods, I felt like I had the world on my shoulder and I couldn't express how I was feeling. I couldn't share to them, what was happening because I was scared to get in trouble. I was scared to do the wrong thing. Like I was the one that was supposed to, be in line and do what I was told. So for me, I actually couldn't voice it to them personally. So I wrote a letter and I actually jumped out the window. So that was essentially like the first big stepping stone to, I guess, embrace the world from there because everything had been such, I wouldn't say in a box, but they were very, I guess, strict on me. And from this point in time, I house hopped. I went into a massive party stage because for me, alcohol was a way I could express myself. I had this confidence that obviously came out when I was drinking. I was the life of the party. I was the one that everyone wanted to be around, but it only came out if I was drinking or using drugs. And this went on for a while because, I felt free. I thought, I can do whatever I want. No one's going to tell me what to do anymore. And it wasn't until I met my ex-partner, and it seemed to be a bit of pattern by this stage. This was a relationship I stayed in for about, I think, 5 years. 5 years longer than it probably should have been. There was a bit of emotional abuse in this relationship, and again, the pattern of feeling confined. I couldn't express myself. I couldn't really do what I wanted to, and after this point, I started to really have a passion for taking care of myself. I started to look at bodybuilding and I knew I wanted to do it. I'd always been quite athletic, really into my sports, a dancer. So I did have that background, and I was very lucky that my family did provide, good food. But going out of this relationship, I thought, you know what? I am going to give bodybuilding a go. And that was the moment that literally changed so much for me because bodybuilding taught me strength that I didn't even know I had, because instead of using alcohol to, I guess, validate my emotions and validate how I was feeling, I had to learn to say no. I had to learn to actually sit at home by myself and feel my emotions. And that taught me a lot. That taught me who I really was and what I wanted to do. Now, at the time, I was still in childcare. I had pretty much been there, I think by the time I left, it was like 10 years. And when I went on this journey of self-discovery and, really embracing prep, I wasn't even looking. And then I met my partner, who I'm with at the moment. And this was another stepping stone because I was essentially shifting an identity, which at the time I didn't know. I didn't really know much about personal development. I could sense that there was more to life, but I hadn't quite fully dived in yet. I hadn't embraced it. I just knew that I was learning to find myself and find what I truly wanted. And I just kept coming home miserable. I'd go to the gym and love every inch of really looking after myself. But then I'd go to work and I'd just be so unhappy. And I come home one day and my partner, Gary, said to me, he's like, "You are so unhappy and I really don't like seeing you like this." Yeah. And he said, "Why don't you start your own business?" And because at the time, he does the same thing. So he had his business for, I'd say maybe like 4 years or so, 4 or 5. And I could see, you know, the happiness that it brought him and what I could strive for. But I still had that doubt. I still had that doubt within myself, and I thought, oh, I couldn't do that. There's no way I could do that. Like, no one in my family's run a business. And I thought that vision of where I could be was way too far away. Way too far away. But then the thought became bigger, and I just got over being so unhappy, and I thought, you know what, okay, I'm going to do this. And that step was probably one of the hardest things, because I had held myself for so long that I now had to let him help me. And that was hard as well, because he had to, I guess, support financially for me to actually get off the ground, because I probably did it the most silliest way. I didn't transition and, you know, work full-time or like half-time on my business and then start to fizzle out. I just went cold turkey. I did. And it's funny because I was actually just practicing my speech, and I remembered the first time that we jumped on a call.
The one when you were in the childcare?
I was.
I remember this call.
Yes.
What was happening?
Yeah. I got my computer, and because I had followed you from your fitness days, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get some help. I'm going to do this. And I got my laptop, and it must have been a break, like one of my lunch breaks.
In the staff room. I remember this now.
And I had my laptop, and it sat in the cupboard. The whole, like, I had to blur out the background because I had toys and shit everywhere. And yeah, we jumped on a call, but at that point in time, I still had that mindset of like, I can't do this, and a bit of scarcity and lack of self-trust within myself. And yeah, it wasn't until we kept in touch.
I kept rolling into your DMs. I was like, come on, babes, when you jumping?
Yeah, and that would have to be, so when the moment that I decided to work with you would have to be the moment that everything just changed for me. My growth to really embrace and actually understand why I want to do what I do. And it's crazy, because the more healing and growth that I go through myself, I'm like, I just want to give this to so many women, because it can be so beautiful. Yes, it can have those hard times, but the hard times are only going to bring you so much joy and happiness and fulfillment on the other end. So yeah, that's my little.
So powerful. It was not little. Everything that you shared around the window parts, jumping out at 18, like you were a little baby babe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you left home, obviously a lot of stuff between your family and the alcohol, the partying, the abuse, right? But then, you know, meeting Gary and then stepping into, you know, the space you're in now. Mm-hmm. What do you feel like was your hardest challenge in life? Like if you were to look at all of that and reflect on that was probably the hardest thing for me, what's the one that comes to mind?
That's a really good question. The hardest. I don't know if it's coming to me because it's quite recent. I'm actually going to say when I took the step to start my business. Yeah. I think it was only hard because I was not only starting a business, but I was doing a lot of work on myself too. So everything was as a reflection, right? So when I started to try and make this progress and really create this shift, there was still something saying, hang on a minute, you have shit to deal with. So you need to deal with this along the way. So I would have to say that was probably one of the hardest. But now I'm glad that I just stuck to it. And look, don't get me wrong, there's still days. We all have those days and it's like, oh my gosh. But it's beautiful. Yeah, it's still beautiful.
It's such a beautiful, great example of that hard, thing that you've been through in business, because I think a lot of women that you help around feeling stuck, feeling like it just feels like they just need to have that drive to keep going, and a lot of women do relate with business and also with their health and fitness goals, When it comes to strength and the mindset work, do you feel like that's what saved you when it comes to the things you were going through?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And I am so glad that I had those, I guess, habits and that trust in that perspective, because even though on those hardest days, I had the non-negotiable to show up for myself in the gym. So even if I didn't feel like, showing up in other avenues, for my own self-respect and keeping myself going, because I know even though you might not feel like it, and I hear this all the time with I'm not motivated or I just can't do it. It's in those moments that you push through. And when you push through, you got to think about it. If you can go to the gym and you show yourself exactly what you're capable inside the gym, that is then going to reflect in other avenues of your life, whether you realize it or not. And I guess that comes down to all of the pieces, right? I don't have time, I don't have money, whatever it may be. Okay, well, try and commit to something.
Yes.
Commit to the gym, and it can be a challenge in itself. And I don't mean just go to the gym, lift some weights and, maybe chat away and leave. I mean actually go in, have some structure, and progress. Like lift heavy and show yourself exactly what you're capable of, because then you will surprise yourself, and it's all going to come from here.
Yeah.
Not just physical, but your mental. And the more times you challenge it, you're going to be like, okay, I did that in the gym.
I didn't die.
Yeah. Where else can I do it? Where else? And bit by bit, you're going to add that stack of evidence to yourself, and it's going to spread in other avenues.
It's huge. And I love that you bring that forward to your business as well as the women you help. Run me through the women that come to you. There's obviously so many. I come from the fitness background, and tell you what, when I was in the fitness space, it was so different. It was all about the bikini body. It was all about your Instagram profile, what you did. Whereas I feel like there's a different element to fitness that you bring. What are some of the women you're helping with right now?
Yeah. And you're right. And that's actually something that I essentially struggled with for a little bit, because even though I compete and I do have that, element of showcasing the body, and don't get me wrong, I do, to say I'm proud of what I've worked for. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also don't just reflect it just for, I'm going to say, I guess the fame or the influence as such. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
I was like, I want to be known, influencer Tam, bodybuilder Tam, famous Tam.
But look, there's nothing wrong with that, because everyone has their own uniqueness. So if that worked for you, then that's fine. But I know for me, exactly what I'm trying to do here is bridge the gap between your physical strength and self-mastery.
Love that.
So in order to do that, like the women that come to me, and I can see it, it's like lack of self-trust. They have no motivation, no confidence in themselves. And they always say, I'm sick of the way that I look. And even just the consistency piece, like they even can't control what's going into their mouth because, the emotional eating. And then that stems down to, okay, well, let's look at the emotional side. Are you just eating for a reaction, or are you actually trying to understand what's actually happening in your body? So, when they're coming to me, these are the things that we're going to start to navigate. And it's much much more powerful than, yes, the gym. But then again, when you spread it into those other avenues and think, okay, well, now we're going to add on you actually keeping your promises to yourself. So
Love that.
you say you're going to get up to the gym, go to the gym. If it's cold, okay, cool. Problem solve.
Great.
Problem solve.
I love this because, you know, I've always believed that the discipline that you put into your health is all about showing up on the days you don't want to, you know, and I think what you've beautifully explained so, you know, amazing about your bodybuilding world with the structure and the security and safety it brought for you, because obviously behind the scenes with what you went through growing up, there was no safety with the environment you were in. There was no safety with what you were going through, whereas the gym was your safe place and you allowed your discipline to be the thing that allowed you to have this incredible structure and also this amazing ability to continue to go through and push through those tough times, right? So what do you feel like is the difference right now when women are wanting to focus on their health and fitness? Maybe that, you know, they're stepping into the body world space like yourself. What's shifting? What's changing? Why is the mindset work so important for them to be able to show up in the gym or even just in their life?
Can I give you like a realistic answer?
Absolutely.
No filter.
That's what we're here for, the unfiltered.
Okay, so honestly, in the world that we're in now and why mindset is so important, women, I'm going to say women because that's who I obviously work with, so many that just want that quick fix. The quick fix, like I want it there and there. It cannot stick to something for a long period of time. So for them to actually have that mindset shift and know and create that discipline within themselves to know it's not a quick fix. Your health, your mindset, your well-being, that is what is carrying you through life. Have more discipline and self-respect for yourself to actually look after you rather than thinking, oh, it's okay, I'll start again Monday. I don't have any motivation. Oh, maybe I'll just get the quickest thing possible to just quickly make me lose the weight and I'll be good. Yeah, that might work for you, but what happens after that? Where's the actual self-confidence coming from? It's coming from inside of you, not outside of you. So no quick fix, no injection, no. Yes. But you know what I mean.
I love this unfiltered Kealee version. Can I share a bit of truth? You said something about you said something about breaking promises. So I openly, you know, instantly felt the little girl in me. There was a process I went through with my kinesiologist, and we went through a process of me, 5-year-old Tam, in this little yellow dress. And she was saying to me, why do you keep breaking promises to yourself? And so recently I've made the decision not to drink before my event. I've had a massive 8 weeks off.
Yep.
But it's the promises we break that no one sees. And it's such a big thing that I find that a lot of people, when they want the thing that you're offering, you know, you're giving them the truth. This is going to be work. You're going to be disciplined. But the reward after it, when you commit to yourself and you stop breaking those promises, there's going to be a massive return of investment. And I've really owned that. And what you've just shared just reminded me of that. But it's in those moments where people are like, oh, I'll just set off the alarm, you know, I'll snooze, I'm going to eat that food, or I'm going to, you know, cancel on those things. Because these are things that you're breaking that you may think are small, but what about the other things that you're breaking promises on? Your commitment, the mirrors and other elements of your life, you know? Like, does that turn you on right now?
Yeah, I'm like, yes.
So what advice when it comes to, you know, it's such a big thing, you know, commitment. It's such a big thing about discipline, you know, the mindset work for health and fitness. But on the other end, what does that give them? Like, it's not just about, you know, fucking going to the gym. There's more to this, right?
Yes. It's funny listening to you. I'm like, oh, I just want to go in coach mode.
I know. I'm like, I'm in the gym.
No, I like to go very in depth in my check-ins with my clients, because something I always say is that if I'm telling you something or I'm, you know, giving you suggestions, I'll always explain why. Yeah, I'm not just going to tell you to do something. I'm going to explain the why behind it. And it's really nice that you, I guess, brought that forward in terms of, you know, that self-trust piece. And something I will share though is that, and this might sound a bit contradicting too though, you're not always going to be able to keep your promises. There will be times, okay? It's not to say that you're going to be perfect. And when I say keep your promises, yes, there's going to be times where it might happen. But what you actually do in these moments, and this is exactly what I would tell my clients, is that you reflect. What happened? You look at it, you reflect. How can you learn from it and be better the next time around? And you move on.
Yeah.
What you don't do is use that and just keep using excuses and go on that tangent. So there's a difference. Like, yes, and that's the not being perfect, right? And another thing I say is like, you're not going to be perfect, and that's okay, but be consistent.
Yes.
Be consistent.
Yes.
Because, and with the stepping stones, so I guess your other question, my advice is start small. See, people, this is another thing that happens is like women go from one extreme to the next. And then because their central nervous system just can't take it, they're like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's not going to work for me. I've tried everything. It doesn't work.
You're like, for how long,
Yeah,
babe?
exactly. Exactly. But yeah, then you just think, okay, cool. Well, let's break it down. What is one thing? Start one. Like if you can't do more than that, that's okay. One thing, and actually keep track of it, and show up to that one thing. Yeah. And then when you have that down pat, cool. Let's habit stack. Let's add another layer. You can't do 10K. Let's start with 8.
Love that.
Can't do, a whole meal prep for the week. Cool. Start with 3. Or even something else I like to say is use the time that you do have for the time that you don't have.
Love that.
So meaning if you're a busy mom or, you're already cooking dinner for the family, use that time to make your meals for the next day. So it's just thinking outside the box and not overcomplicating the process.
It really is about simplifying the process, but also it's the small increments that you start to implement and going to make the biggest shift in your life.
Yes.
What are some of the results you've given these beautiful women that are coming into your world now once they see Kealee for 12 weeks, 6 months to a year? What are they saying to you? Like this is the thing, when you're consistent, what happens?
What happens? So something that will stay with me, I had this beautiful client and she actually came to me in a really bad place. She didn't know if it was the right time. She has 2 boys. She was heavily depressed. She was actually coming off medication. That was her goal. And
what type of medication?
Yeah. And throughout the process, seeing her transform, it was wild. Like it was so beautiful to watch because she just trusted.
Yeah.
And she was one that actually, like, I could just give her a plan. We'd have touch base with our coaching calls, which she loved. That was like her little, like if she was sort of, staring off or having a bit of a, a rough week, the coaching calls would help her. And we'd be like, hey, cool, like let's problem solve what's working. And the coaching calls are really good because it can actually start to break down some barriers and really help with mindset shifts. So that really helped her. And the end of it, in her little testimonial, I asked her what was the win for you? What was the thing that you achieved the most? And she said, yeah, look, the physical was good. And mind you, she lost 29 kilos. Yeah, but that wasn't the thing that stood out to her the most. Yes, she did love the way that she was confident in her clothes and all of this sort of stuff. When she started, she couldn't even take photos with her boys. By the end of it, she was sending me photos of her with her boys, going out, taking the boys for rides on the scooter and just enjoying life And she said that now she actually knows what aligns with her and what doesn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not just about the physical.
Not just about the physical.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
That's powerful, babe.
Yeah.
I love that. And you know what's really cool, because I've seen you grow with your business and also your bodybuilding. Now that you've implemented more of the mindset component of it, what's been different for you as an athlete and as a business owner, bringing forward the mindset work into your personal life, into your business, as well as your training as a bodybuilder athlete now?
Everything has changed. Everything. Yeah. I think growth is beautiful when you're open to it. It can be challenging, but when it challenges you, I think now I'm more equipped to know, okay, like this is really challenging me. So what is it providing me? Like what's happening? And it's making me actually be more in tune to understand and just know, okay, there's a reason this is happening for me. And just really watching my language and how I'm implementing things, and that has been a huge shift for me, because it's funny, Gary now does the training aspect. And even noticing my change in even that for myself. When I first went to him, I even
is it training with
it's
I was gonna say
well, he's like the tough coach. Yeah, he's like, as soon as you're in the space, like boyfriend goes out the window.
I feel like
I know. No, he does not take anything. Like no bullshit. Like but that's what I wanted. I needed that, because again, that was my mindset. I'm like, I want to be better. I want to be a pro, and that's how I'm going to get there. Like someone needs to actually push me. So I think even that in itself, having the mindset to know I want to be challenged, like hit me with a challenge, because I know what it's going to bring on the other end of it. Oh, don't get me wrong, I still have the, oh my God,
I was gonna say, what you wish for.
I know. No, but I think when it does happen, it can be a tough time, but it's like, okay, I'm more equipped now to either sit in it and navigate through it, rather than working myself up into a ball of stress and thinking, I can't do this, like, no, like, fuck it. Whereas I would used to do that.
I love this, Kealee. You've grown so much, honey bunny. And I think for all the listeners right now, if you're looking for a fitness coach in this space, not just a fitness coach, let me rephrase that. A mindset coach that's going to hold you to a standard, challenge you, but also help you grow in not only your strength, but also your physical and mental strength. Kealee Hemsworth is someone I want you to make sure you reach out to. It has been an absolute honor watching her grow in her business, but also as an athlete and as a beautiful human. I'm so fucking proud of you, babe.
Thank you. It's all because of you.
It's all you.
Now, and I could say the same. Very, very thankful.
Babes,
very thankful.
We're going to be celebrating Saturday and Sunday. Well, mostly Saturday.
Yes.
Now, I've got this beautiful question I always ask the beautiful guests that come here. It's the one question, because the podcast started about giving advice to the listeners for myself, and I want you to think about that one key. You've given so much advice for everyone, but if you were to give the listeners the one key that opens up their keys to the queendom, that one piece of advice, what's that piece of advice?
This is a good question. The first thing that comes to mind is trust yourself. And I think it's so powerful, because when I think about that myself, I think of all the times where things, it always works out. Everything will always work out if you let it go and trust in you, that you are doing the best you can with the tools that you have. And the more that you lean in and trust yourself in any process, even if there's fear, even if there's discomfort, if you know that there's going to be a positive outcome, or it could even be a negative outcome, it doesn't matter, because if you're trusting yourself, whatever outcome is presented to you, it's going to either create a lesson or beautiful opportunities. So, yeah.
Mic drop there. Kealee, where can everyone find you on social media, honey?
You can find me, well, my personal page is at _Kealee Hemsworth and business is at Verve Strength.
Not related to Chris Hemsworth. Although, if you're watching and maybe we'll...
Oh, maybe you can help me find him.
Yes.
Guys, seriously.
We do love a Chris Hemsworth.
I am meant to do my family tree. So if anyone would actually like to help me figure it out.
Very wealthy family tree.
Because everyone always asks me every time they ask for my last name and I see the face and they look at me.
You should just say yes and see what happens.
I do. I have I've started saying yes now and I'm like, yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
My beautiful girl, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Kealee the Queendom. It's been well overdue. And for everyone listening, I'm your host, Tamara Meyer. Make sure you follow Kealee on her socials. And if you want a good kick up the butt, she's your coach.
Yes.
And I am excited for next week, another episode on Kealee the Queendom. I'm your host, Tamara Meyer. I remember the first time I spoke on stage. My heart was racing, palms sweaty, voice was shaking. I was terrified. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because deep down I was afraid of being seen. I was afraid of my own power. But here's the truth no one tells you. Speaking isn't about perfection. It's about connection. When you step onto stage, whether it's a room of 10 or 10,000 people aren't just listening to your word. They're feeling your energy. They're watching to see, does this person believe in what they're saying? Does this person believe in themselves? The power to command a room comes from owning your story, not performing a script. That's what amplifies your voice, and that's what creates impact. I spent years shrinking myself, dimming my light, thinking I had to sound like everyone else to be taken seriously. The moment I let go of the performance and I chose to lead with my truth, my voice changed, my business changed, my life changed, and that's what I want for you. Because when you learn to speak with authority, to lead with conviction, to show up as the fullest, boldest version of you, you don't just inform, you transform. Own your message and create the kind of presence that moves people into action, because your voice is your greatest asset. It's time to use it. So if you're ready to stop shrinking, if you're ready to step into the leader you were born to be, join me at Show Up and Speak Live. The mic is waiting, the world is waiting, and so am I.